Let's dive straight into the topics. And I thought the good one to start with was one that came to me, but in a slightly roundabout way. So, as you probably both know, I'm only on social media for professional purposes, not personal purposes at all. But my wife came to me in the last week and said, you've got to see this. The FCA is bombarding me with adverts on my social media, so on Instagram and Facebook and all the rest of it. And they're promoting their hype type revealer. And so I thought, well, this is interesting. I wonder what they're after my wife for. So I went in and did the FCA's hype type revealer, which is for the benefit of the audience who haven't done it, is a web-based program that runs a little bit like a WhatsApp chat, where you engage and you get people trying to promote investment scams, probably a little bit of crypto, a little bit of vanilla stock market investing, using various techniques, and just what it tries to do is see how you respond to those prompts. So I thought it was interesting. I thought I'd bring it to the table for today. We've got two techies with us, so it'd be great to get a view from two technical people rather than from my point of view. I mean, my view is the regulator's clearly trying to reach the unadvised and just get them to understand a bit more about behavioral finance and how they respond to these kind of things. But Abraham, if we start with you, with your tech head on, what did you think?
What is this? I mean, I played with this thing and I have to what is it? It is stupid. You know, this thing what is this supposed to do? It's supposed to kind of use, psychology to ultimately reveal your hype type, whether you're the kind of person who will who invests based on hype or not. I don't see anyone taking this seriously. Anyone with any amount of money. Young people, if this was, so my thinking was, if this was aimed at young people, getting on the starting out on the investment journey, they will kind of see through this rubbish anyway. And if this was aimed at experienced, even self-directed investor, let alone advised investor, they're not gonna bother with this. Why do they spend our money, yours and mine, FCA fees on this ridiculous nonsense? Sorry, I am sitting on the fence on this one.
Are you?
You haven't got a clear view then. I mean, judging by the look and feel of it, the only reassurance I would give you is I don't think they've spent a lot of money on it, to be absolutely fair.
No, the UI is horrible.
Yeah, but so let's take a step back. Why have they done this? Do you know how many people are in WhatsApp groups talking about investing because they have no way to get help? There's influencers of all these little groups and they have DMs and private messages, and people are getting help in that way. So I actually commend them for being pretty progressive in gamifying something to help people just bring to, like, if they sent out "Don't Do Scams" PDF to you and asked you to read that, would you read that? Would anyone read that? Whereas this sort of gamification way, it's simplistic, and I'm glad they didn't spend a lot of money on it, but they need to capture people where they are going for help and getting the wrong outcomes. They are getting the wrong outcomes on social media. So to actually gamify it, think back, have you seen that timing the market game? It's also shitty UI. So, and people can play with it and it helps them see timing the market is just gambling. This is actually pretty smart from their perspective because they know people are getting bad outcomes on social media. So they are giving them something that's gamified, very similar, well, badly copied from Clio is my feel, because it's very Clio-like. Clio will roast you on your spending and that kind of thing. And they're more down with the kids than you are, Abram. Sorry.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, so you think people would actually engage with this and take something meaningful out of it?
Firstly, it's from the FCA. So lots of people would know that this is the regulator. And if you think they've got loads of guides on crypto and don't, scam smart and what to think about before you're investing, and they're pretty good guides, but they are also smart enough to know that most people don't read anything. No, it doesn't matter how much education content we put out on anywhere, people do not read it. So if you create something that's a little bit gamified, that's a bit like how they engage with their friends or on social media, all these fast messages and no speaking, no reading, but engaging in that way, I do think they'll help people think again, because you then have a reason to doubt, because are you just catching on to a hype, or are you actually looking at things sensibly? I do think it will make people think again. Not everyone, and not everyone would engage with it, but they're far more likely to engage with a game than they are with a PDF. I can guarantee you that. So from that perspective, I think they are just recognizing that people are really getting bad outcomes on social media. So where do they need to go to reach them? Not on their website. They need to go to social media. To me, it's a pretty smart move. They are very, very determined to do something about the advice gap. And from that perspective, doing something like this is progressive. I would never dream that they would have done that. And I think hats off.
Yeah, look, I'm going to come down probably somewhere between those two positions. I'm glad they're trying something. I'd be super interested to know actually who they're targeting, because I don't know that they're targeting young people. I don't want to cast aspersions on my wife, but she's not.
You're in trouble for that one.
She's middle bracket age-wise, right? She's younger than me, but she's not what you'd call a young person anymore. Bless her. I'm sure she wouldn't mind me saying that. So if they're targeting people who are kind of her generation, unadvised on social media, maybe that it doesn't matter so much that the UI is as it is.
What did she think? What did she think of this thing?
Well, so she handed it straight over to me on the basis she recognised who the FCA were and thought that would be something I'd be interested in rather than her, which is a bit of a shame. It would be interesting actually to see if any of her friends had engaged with it and what the outcome had been from it. I mean, I guess, look, you've got to try these things, right? We're forever complaining that the FCA is regulating us, the good guys, and not closing down the scams. If this helps, if it stops more people being scammed, there's one less thing for us to complain about, which is going to be a good thing. Right?
I mean, it's way more interesting than COBS, isn't it? Can't they do COBS?
It's a low bar.
I would be happy. I'd be happy if I can engage with COBS on that, and then I'd be like, that's way more interesting reading.
Won't we all?
So
yeah.
No, I wonder how much they're spending on the social media ads. I'd be more worried about that than the build cost, Abram, because who are they targeting? What is the profiles that they're looking at? How are they reaching them? What sorts of social media strategy have they got for that? So that's a good point, Matt, because I do agree. It wouldn't be people. I wouldn't even say I don't engage with something like that. I pretended to be. When I did it, I was more thinking like, how would someone in their 20s react to this? Not that I am down with the kids either, Abram, but I can at least imagine.
Well, you're sadly more down with the kids than I
reckon so. I think I win on that one.
Yeah, because I was looking at it, I played with it twice and thinking, what is this?
But we also don't put ourselves in other people's shoes. Like if they are getting, and I don't know if you both have seen some of the ads or the nonsense that's being spewed out there around money, they're getting help from that. And because, followers or reach is what gives credibility, there's nothing concrete behind it. So it's actually quite a smart way of them trying to help people see that, don't just follow what everyone says, because that is a big problem. Loads of people buy stuff or think that trading is investing. To help people understand that in a very way more engaging way, I think is very commendable.